stop buying bad monitors. If you are looking for the best 1440p gaming monitor 2024, you've come to the right place. Welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. In 2024, 1440p gaming monitors have completely taken over the gaming space, and pricing has never been better at every budget level. Whether you're looking for the best budget 1440p gaming monitor, the best 240Hz 1440p gaming monitor, or the best OLED 1440p gaming monitor, including ones that go up to 360Hz, there are tons of amazing options. We'll cover everything that you need to know to buy the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2024, and we'll make specific product recommendations at every budget level. If you get value out of the video, please give it a like so it really helps out the channel, and of course subscribe for more cool PC content. With that, let's jump into it. Let's briefly go over the key specs that you need to understand to find the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2024. Now at this resolution, there are three main aspect ratios. Most mainstream is called widescreen, which are 16:9 or 16 pixels wide for every 9 pixels in height. Ultrawide monitors are 21:9 or 21 pixels wide for every 9 pixels in height, and super ultrawide gaming monitors like the Samsung Odyssey G9 OLED are 32:9. Note that consoles like the PS5 or Xbox Series X or S do not provide much support for ultra-wide or super ultra-wide gaming monitors, so I would only consider these aspect ratios for PC gamers. Next up is refresh rate, which you can think of as how many frames per second or FPS that your monitor can actually display. Now this number is listed in Hertz or HZ for short. In 2024, most 1440p gaming monitors start between 144Hz to 180Hz for the mainstream displays. For esports, the best 1440p gaming monitors go up to 240Hz, 360Hz, and there's even 480Hz models on the market. Remember that refresh rate is just the maximum that your monitor can display, and you still need a graphics card capable of putting out that level of FPS at 1440p as well. And of course, the consoles are limited to 120Hz, so don't overspend on a refresh rate if you're buying a 1440p gaming monitor just for the PS5 or Xbox Series X or S. But what GPU do you need for 1440p PC gaming? Now, we covered this in more detail in our best GPU for gaming 2024 video, so I'll leave that link down in the video description if you want a deeper dive. But here's the simple version. Looking at the recent TechSpot RX 7600 XT review, so relatively recent data, you can get about 60 FPS at ultra details at 1440p across a wide range of hard-to-run titles with an RTX 3060 12GB, RX 6650 XT, or an Intel Arc A750 GPU. With easier to run titles like Fortnite, Valorant, or CS2, that goes up massively. Of course, in 2024, some games can use more than 8GB of VRAM at 1440p, which can cause issues, so check out our best GPU for gaming for more on that. If you want to play new AAA titles on release at high or ultra settings at 1440p, I'd recommend at least 12GB of VRAM. For esports titles using a 1440p 240Hz or higher refresh rate monitor, an ultra-wide gaming monitor, or if you have multiple monitors, I would recommend jumping up at least 1 to 2 tiers of GPU performance, so an NVIDIA RTX 4070 or AMD RX 7800 XT or higher end GPU. For console gamers, the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S all perform very well at 1440p, and this is really the sweet spot for the less powerful Xbox Series S. Let's talk about IPS versus VA versus OLED panel types for 1440p gaming. IPS is largely the dominant technology for budget and mid-range 1440p gaming monitors, though there are a couple of monitors that use VA very well, like the Samsung Odyssey G6. These panels can be found starting at less than $200, with higher refresh rate panels starting around $300. In 2024, OLED panels really shine, and they've come down substantially in price, and they can be found at refresh rates ranging from 165Hz to 240Hz to 360Hz and at least one 480Hz panel. While traditional VA and IPS panels can look great, OLED really takes things to the next level with infinite contrast, deep blacks, near instantaneous response times, and amazing motion clarity, and they start right around the $750 price point at the time of filming. What about AMD FreeSync versus NVIDIA G-Sync? Well, the great news is that it's no longer a complicated topic for the best 1440p gaming monitors in 2024. Both AMD FreeSync and NVIDIA G-Sync are technologies that sync your monitor refresh rate to your GPU output, and they avoid screen tearing during gaming. Virtually every 1440p gaming monitor in 2024 comes with at least AMD FreeSync, as it's the cheaper technology. All modern NVIDIA GPUs can utilize FreeSync on your monitor as long as you use the DisplayPort cable when connecting the monitor to your graphics card. So regardless of whether you have an AMD or NVIDIA GPU, heck, even an Intel one, any gaming monitor we recommend will work just fine with it. just make sure to use the DisplayPort cable as your default. For console owners, the PS5, Xbox Series X and S can all use FreeSync over HDMI 2.0, which virtually every modern 1440p gaming monitor comes with. Let's jump into our recommendations for best gaming monitor 2024. Now, everything is linked down in the video description, and it's going to be listed by category. We're going to update these deals daily. Things sell out, new deals pop up, new monitors come on the market, so check out the video description for the current best deals. Now, the deals listed with a fire emoji in front of them, they're particularly good ones in that budget category. They might sell out, the price might go up. And if there's 2 fire emojis, it means it's an insane deal, regardless of budget category, so check those out. Let's jump to the best budget 1440p gaming monitors, and honestly, a lot of the options are similar to what we saw earlier this year, but the prices continue to go down. Let's quickly punch through them. What's the best cheap 1440p gaming monitor right now? I continue to recommend the ASRock Phantom PG27Q15R2A. It's 27 inches. It's a curved VA panel. I know that's not for everybody. I have a flat IPS option for you. A little bit more money though. This is the cheapest high quality 1440p gaming monitor you're going to find out there though. It is going to give you a similar performance to mid-range monitors from years past at the 1440p level that would have cost $350, you can now get for $173. Part of that is the fact that ASRock, this is their first generation of gaming monitors, and they're kind of buying name recognition by selling these so cheap. So cheap. Comes with a lot of cool extras, including cable management features, a Wi-Fi antenna to it. The stand is really phenomenal as well. $173. I have not been able to find this one reliably outside of the US. However, this sold primarily at Newegg. So let me give you another option. If you're looking for that flat IPS option, it continues to be my number one choice. Either the Acer Nitro XV271U, which is right here for $199, or the XV272U, which is also $199. Typically, there's about $30 or $40 that separates them. It just happens to be, as I'm filming this, the 272U is actually on sale for $199. Now, that's pretty close to its Black Friday price of $189 from last year. That's how cheap these gaming monitors have gotten. The only difference between the two, the XV272U gets about 50 nits brighter than the XV271U. If you need a monitor for a super bright room, then get the 272U, even if you have to spend a little bit extra. Typically sells more like $220 or $230. Well worth the asking price on this. This is a phenomenal 180 hertz refresh rate, 27-inch 1440p gaming monitor. Great motion handling to it. Again, you can get better panels out there, but not for $200. This is insane value. The XV271U, again, typically sells for anywhere from $189 up to about $200. Its typical price, and that's about as low as it's gone even in Black Friday of last year. So these are always great to pick up. Let's jump into the best 1440p gaming monitor. So this is the mid-range. So this is if you want to spend more than about $200, spending more like $300. There's basically 2 ways to go. Either you can get better visual quality and add some HDR features to it, going with a monitor like you see here, or you can go 240 hertz, which we'll get to in just a moment, and you're going more in the esports direction with it. For those of you who don't necessarily need the higher refresh rates, 180 hertz is still pretty high, I want to recommend the AOC Q27 G3XMN. The reason I think this monitor has completely taken over this spot, even though it's a VA panel, I know some of you will freak out at a VA panel, although it's a flat VA panel, is the fact that it's got actual mini LEDs and it has local dimming zones. So it adds some level of HDR functionality to it that's beyond the typical garbage tier that you get on LCD monitors. So this is actually a pretty good, not as good as OLED. I don't want to oversell it. Obviously though, OLED's almost 3 times as much money, or at least twice the price. So for the price of $279, you're getting a substantially better monitor than some of the other ones that I would have previously recommended. And I absolutely love this one. $279, it's come down quite a bit, could continue to come down. And at this price, it's kind of hard to recommend some of the other monitors that we did in the past. For those of you who aren't lucky enough to live in a region that has access to this monitor, let me give you some alternatives. I still like the MSI G27 for QPF QD. The QD part's important. That's the quantum dot. Great monitor, 170 hertz, 27 inch. Right now going for about $256. So sometimes gets down like to the 240s. Really do like this gaming monitor. Other options include the Gigabyte M27Q. There's a second edition of this. It has SA after it if you scroll down to the product description. or it's called the Pro version. It's a little confusing, Gigabyte. I wish we would have just called this a different monitor basically, but it basically got rid of the old BGR subpixel layout and added an RGB one, so the text clarity is much better on this monitor. $269, again, great gaming monitor if you don't have access to the AOC model. And of course, if you want to spend a little bit more money than that, I still do like the LG 27GP850-B. The price on this continues. It's like a roller coaster. One day it'll be $400. The next day it'll be $270. I don't understand how LG prices its monitors, and this is not the only monitor that has that problem. But again, a phenomenal panel. However, I would still get the AOC if you have access to it. Let's jump into the best 1440p 240Hz gaming monitor in 2024. Now I'm going to give you my budget pick, and then I've got a whole bunch of flat IPS ones. The budget pick, obviously, curved VA panel. Phenomenal curved VA panel though. That is the AOC CQ27G3Z curved VA. It's got a 1000R curve on it, very reminiscent to me of the Samsung Odyssey G7 old 1440p gaming monitor that I used to call the best gaming monitor out there. It's got elite motion handling to it. It's got really, really good contrast as well. Honestly, AOC is just killing it at $279 here. Is pretty much all you need unless you want flat IPS, which we'll get into just a moment. I would pick this thing up in a heartbeat. If you're looking for flat IPS, 1440p, 240Hz gaming awesomeness out there, and you can't afford quite to go to those OLED, either 240Hz or 360Hz monitors, start more like $600, $700 right now. There are some great options out there. I'm gonna give you, I think, 4 or 5 here because they are all almost identical. I'm gonna give you them in the order that I would pick them if they were all the same price. Just know that the prices are absolutely insane. One day this LG panel is $300, the next day it's $500, and then the next day it's $400. I can't figure out why they price them this way. So I'm gonna give you these. Just go ahead and buy the cheapest one in my estimation. And if they are the same price, the first one I would pick up is the LG 27GR83Q-B. Again, elite motion handling you should just come to expect on all these gaming monitors. Probably slightly better picture clarity on this one. $396 right now, a little expensive. I would probably look to get this at more like $349, which it often sells at. All honestly, it's $500 plus a lot of the time too, and I wouldn't even consider it that price point. But absolutely great panel. The next one in order is the Gigabyte M27Q-X. Again, not much separates this from the LG panel. LG panel slightly superior. $449. I don't know why it's gotten so expensive. I think just because it's become such a great seller for Gigabyte out there, they raise the price. That's how it happens to a lot of these monitors, not just to Gigabyte monitors. This often does get down to $349 as well. Around that price is where I would look to pick it up. Another great pickup is the MSI G27 4QPX. This is MSI's answer to 240Hz. Again, phenomenal 1440p 240Hz gaming panel, not for $415. The problem with this is it's often been sold out. In fact, this is a third-party seller I'm showing you right here, and it's just been out of stock for a while. I do expect it to come back in at some point, so check out those links down in the video description, see if it's back. Typically does sell around $349, which is a really good price. And then the one I would pick up, honestly, today, if I were shopping for one, is the HP 27QS, the HP Omen 27QS. This is another phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal panel. Is the LG panel slightly superior in a couple of very minor ways? Yes, but would I be unhappy with getting this? Especially this monitor often goes on sale for $299. At $299 is an absolute steal. Right now at $349, I would not pay $50 more for any of those other monitors. This is a phenomenal panel. Let's jump into the best OLED 1440p gaming monitors because there are some insane ones that are coming out this year that honestly even blow the ones from last year away. They blow away. I'm not saying throw out your monitor from last year if you got like the Asus one that was $1,000, but I certainly wouldn't necessarily buy discounted versions of those over something like this. Why OLED versus LCD? Yes, you're gonna pay a price premium, but you're gonna get infinite contrast, you're gonna get the true blacks out of it, you're gonna get insane HDR. Overall, if you can afford these gaming monitors, obviously the price to performance isn't as good as LCD, but if you're looking to raise your experience to the next level, whether or not you're a single player title person or you're looking to push really high frame rates, this is my number one top pick. This is the Alienware AW272 5DF. 360 hertz refresh rate. Now you might say, Jason, I play single player games. I don't need 360 hertz. It's okay. The motion handling on this is as good at around 60 hertz as it is at 360 hertz, and you're still gonna get all that amazing OLED clarity, you're going to get the amazing picture quality, you're going to get the HDR. Despite whatever game you play, this is the #1 option. And now I know it's $829. There are some discounted options from last year out there. I still think this is, I would spend the $100. I will show you some alternatives out there, obviously, but this is my #1 pick. If you are looking for a slightly cheaper alternative and slightly lower refresh rate, the Asus OLED XG27AQ DMG is a WOLED version of the monitor that they introduced last year that was more like $1,000. Both of them 27-inch. 240 hertz. Now, the big difference between WOLED and QD OLED is that QD OLEDs tend to be glossy finishes and WOLEDs tend to be matte finishes. So if you have any kind of preference there, and it is about $130 cheaper than the Alienware I was showing you. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money and still get a really good OLED panel out there, maybe this is the one to pick up. What if you're looking for the best ultra-wide 1440p OLED gaming monitor out there? Well, honestly, you basically have a couple of choices here, and they're both from last year. The first is the AW3423DWF. We recommended this last year. It's a great 1440p ultra-wide gaming monitor. You are going to sacrifice, however, refresh rate on these. This is 165 hertz on this particular monitor. Look, still great, especially for single player titles. 165 hertz is nothing to sneeze at, but if you're looking for those esports titles, I would go with one of the monitors we've already recommended. $799 right now. Sometimes this goes on sale for even cheaper. My alternative to this is the MSI Mag and all that stuff that I'm not going to say up there. $779, really not a lot of difference between this and the Dell, so you could probably just pick up whichever one is cheaper at the time. If you're looking for the best super ultra-wide 1440p gaming monitor, go no further than this Samsung Odyssey G9 OLED. Now this is the G9 5SC model. This is the one I would recommend you get. I would not get the G9 3 SC. The 9.5 just comes with some more smart features to it, and it typically is like $50 difference. Right now, selling for $1,199. I've seen this down to almost $1,000 at times, probably only around flash sales, though. So $1,200 about what I would expect it to go for. It's phenomenal. It's basically 49 inches of 240 hertz 1440p OLED goodness. You can put monitors side by side if you want, in kind of a seamless format to it. You can use the single display. Probably the best, most insane gaming monitor on the market right now, in my opinion. Kidding. Everything is linked down in the video description, and we're going to update those listings regularly as new monitors come on the market or things sell out. So check out those links for current pricing and availability, and let me know down in the comments, what gaming monitors are you looking at? What GPU do you have? Or maybe you have a console, and what games are you looking to play? And we'll catch you on the next one.